in Sonoran Creek. They're looking at the overall growth of the city. They love seeing the new homes. They love seeing the apartments. They want that diversity of housing because they know that's what's going to produce the workforce housing that they need. Everyone is always asking me, and as part of my job, I'm talking to developers and retailers on a daily basis. And one of the questions these groups are always asking me is, where are my employees going to live? And they love seeing that we're building new homes, building new rooftops daily. All right, and that's what's bringing these businesses in. And I'll tell you, it's not going to stop with these. There's more and more talks we're having, more and more users coming. That's super exciting. If we look at more of Sonoran Creek, this is just some of the more and more ones that are going to be coming. Take a look at Sprouts. You see all of those inline shops with a restaurant on the end cap, and Marshall's is going to be on the other end cap. And then just as this building over here that has Mod Pizza, Crumble, Jimmy John's, and ATI has multiple tenants, this other building under construction is another multi-tenant building where you can expect several more shops to join the Maricopa family.
Wow, that's an incredibly expansive addition to our community. It's a very exciting time to be a resident of Maricopa. Hey, for more information on what's new and coming here in your community, check out what'snewmaricopa.com.
Two-year-old Mia Preston is the picture of unbridled joy.
Oh, that's pretty. It's so pretty. Swimming.
This picture shows Mia gliding with an ear-to-ear grin during her first swim lesson. It's an image Mia's mother can cherish forever, especially when she compares it against the one taken just 43 days earlier.
They say it takes 21 seconds for a child to go unconscious in the water.
For Mia, those seconds of misfortune happened while her family was on vacation. She was playing with her siblings when, in a moment of distraction, Mia slipped out a back door and fell into the pool.
She basically drowned. My husband had to pull her out of the pool and administered CPR.
Mia's father continued that CPR for over 20 minutes until paramedics arrived and got Mia's heart beating again on its own. But Mia's battle was just beginning. She would spend 9 days in the ICU, 9 days during which her parents not only didn't know whether she'd survive, but also if she'd ever be the same.
Who's that? Yeah. Who's that, Mia? Who's that? Who's that?
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear. Should we open it? Run. Come back and hide.
Against the odds, Mia's condition improved, and miraculously, she's now on the road to a full recovery, a road that included a quick return to the water.
As soon as Mia got out of the hospital, the first thing I wanted to do was get her back into the water because she loved swimming, and we were really nervous that this accident would have prevented her from probably ever swimming again.
The more frequent outcome is a story that's become far too familiar for Arizona families, and one the city of Maricopa is determined to rewrite with a program called Maricopa Swims Safe in the Water.
The Maricopa Swim Safe in the Water program is designed for kids, and essentially the purpose of that is to start teaching kids at an early age how to be able to assist themselves in the instance that they fall into the water.
Suspended during the pandemic, the program is now making a comeback. Participating elementary schools bus first graders to Copper Sky for their immersive classes.
This is 4 45-minute sessions. The first 10 minutes we go over talking about water safety and going through our safety ranger program. And then we spend the rest of the time in the water going from not being comfortable to put their face in the water to being able to jump in the deep end, float on their back, and get out of the water safely.
The goal is to eventually expand the program throughout the district and invite charter schools into the pool as well. In order to get there, the community has the chance to suit up.
We can't do it without instructors, and we pay pretty decent, and it's a lot of fun. You get a free Copper Sky membership. We can't do these programs without instructors, so I hope anybody seeing this that has 3 or 4 hours open in their morning or early afternoon could come by and learn how to be an instructor.
Knowing that what I'm doing is ultimately going to help them in the long run, there's no better feeling like it.
A feeling of satisfaction for instructors and a sense of security for families like the Prestons, who found in Mia's story a new conviction for these life-saving skills.
CPR certification and swim safety with lessons is like, that's all we could advocate. We'll use her platform and her story to sell that for the rest of our lives.
Swimming.
In case you pull something.
Hold up! Go. Hey Maricopa, it's me, Sergeant Hal Kruger. I'm here with my friends here at the police department. We've got a brand new tool that's going to help our officers out on the street keep everybody safe. It's called a bolo wrap.
We're implementing Bolo Wrap for the first time at MPD. It's a new technology that doesn't use pain compliance to work. It prevents us from using taser, baton, pepper spray, which are pain compliance tools, and we're excited to be using it. It wraps around a person, takes a Kevlar cable with hooks on the end, kind of like Spider-Man, wraps a person up so they can't take a step, they can't move their arms, allows us to go in safely, take them into custody without hurting the suspect, without hurting the officer. Prevents us from having to take a person down to the ground, get into a scuffle. The thing with a Bolo Wrap that makes it unique is that it's completely different in shape and in size. It's not something that we're going to get mixed up. We know when we're holding on to this, we know it's not our gun, we know it's not our taser. We don't think officers are going to get this mixed up with a firearm or a taser. We update the training for the officers and for the instructors on a yearly basis. The officers today at MPD are going through operator training. They're doing practical scenarios, they do a written test, they do malfunction drills, they learn how to safely operate the unit and when they cannot use it. We wrap each other so we know how to deploy, we know what it feels like, we know how to deploy when a person is standing still, when they're walking. So we think that the officers are well trained and well equipped to go out and use this with confidence to safely take care of our public.
And that's a wrap.
This is our fate, and we will overcome. No, we don't play. Whoa, whoa. So walk with the grace. You got to pay the price. No time to waste. Whoa, we will overcome.
Hey, I'm Nathan Oliet, Community Services Director for the City of Maricopa, and I'm here today at the first ever in the state of Arizona fitness court that was really brought to you in part, largely in part, by Global Water through one of their sponsorships. And we're just here today to talk about what an incredible thing it was that Global Water decided to do 3 years ago.
It's through sponsorships, especially with Global Water and their significant contribution, that we're able to really expand on the entertainment side of things and also on activities that are available. We've expanded from 3 signature events to 5. We added the Copa Glow, which is the hot air balloon festival. And also, we have an event that is coming up in just a few weeks, our multicultural event. And for example, we are able, based upon the generosity of Global Water and their sponsorship, we're able to bring in some entertainment acts. We've got Polynesian dancers lined up. We're working on some Congo and steel drum performances. So it's those types of things that those extra dollars help to not only expand the events, but bring more events and bring entertainment to those events.
We are the first city to have a recreational esports program. We won the 2020 Arizona Parks and Recs Association Award for Best Sports Program. Global Water's contribution gives us the funds to start this program, which we have over 400 unique players that have enrolled in the program so far. It also allowed us to switch to an online platform once the pandemic hit. So we were able, about 120 people signed up online, and they were able to participate in our online programming, and it was awesome. If there was a timing to prove the value of this program and the versatility, it was then. The pandemic hits, the coaches already were like, let's just switch it online. Within the next weekend, everybody else was locking down. We had 22 people in our tournament. It's a way for kids that are good at video games to be competitive at something they're good at, to meet friends with the same interest, I mean, I didn't meet any friends that played video games, but now you can, you know, and you can build those lasting relationships thanks to a program like this.
Rec in the Greenbelt is a Parks and Recreation trailer on wheels. Has an esports component, but also has a bunch of different Parks and Recreation games, up from Connect 4 to Frisbee toss. We have golf. We just have a bunch of different things offered in that. I do believe Rec in the Greenbelt did a great job connecting the community. We not only provided it here, but we connected with Maricopa Unified School District and our charters by providing this trailer at their schools and interacting with their students as well. Ever since we started the program about 2 years ago, I would have to say we had about 1,000 plus participants participate. Global Water was a huge contribution to UT and enrichment programs, and they helped us out a lot.
Maricopa's Safe in the Swim program provided free swim lessons for 197 kids. And what was cool about this program, as we tracked the progress, we realized about 90% of them did not know how to swim, and time they were done, they were safer in the water. They can float, they can do some swimming, they could jump in the water, self-rescue themselves, get out of the water. This allowed opportunity for kids that not normally would be able to get to the pool to do swim lessons and things like that.
So today we're at Pecana Park, but we're actually standing here at the Fitness Court today, which is a national fitness campaign where they try to implement outdoor fitness courts in different areas to bring fitness closer to communities. I mean, fitness really shut down during the pandemic. For us to be able to continue to provide fitness activities to the community was huge. We definitely could not have done the Fitness Court without Global Water. It obviously gets really hot here in the summer, and Global Water, I mean, they directly contributed to the shade structure here of the fitness court. Now it's utilized 365 days a year. Also, the lovely decals that we have all around the fitness court as well was a direct contribution from Global Water. We could not have done any of that without them.
On our wall here, we have different sizes of stars that represent different amounts of donations, and Global Water is our largest star, our largest donor. Your contribution to the library here has allowed me to continue to do what I love to do, and it also helps us to enhance our programs by expanding the opportunities for more people to participate, having more staff involved in these programs or volunteers. And this allows us to reach more of our community. It makes you feel good when you hear this pleasant buzz in the library. It just makes me feel good to know that we do have people that are utilizing and gaining some type of skill or furthering their reading. Thank you, Global Water, for all that you've done to help support the library and our community, and we look forward to future opportunities with you.
Thank you guys, Global Water. We could not have done this fitness court without you. The city of Maricopa thanks you, and the community definitely thanks you as well.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
None of this would have been possible. None of these programs would have been possible without the support of Global Water and without their vision to want to do something in our community. So I'm super grateful. I know all of the participants that have been impacted by these programs and events.
Placed us, because our own welfare is intimately tied to the welfare of our neighbors. And so we pray on behalf of our city that you would bless this community and be gracious to us, that your light would shine here and overcome the darkness. We pray for these leaders. We thank you for them, and we ask that you would give them the wisdom they need to lead our community well. We pray they would be people of integrity and goodness, who care for the best interest of the people they serve. We pray for our first responders and servicemen and women, that you would watch over their lives and safeguard them in their work. And we ask that you would enrich the families and residents of Maricopa, because you are good and gracious and kind. And all these things we pray, trusting your will to be done. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Grady, and thank you, Councilmember Marsh. That'll take us to roll call at this time.
Councilmember Gettle.
Present.
Councilmember Learman. Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Vitiello. Councilmember Wade.
Here.
Vice Mayor Manfredi.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. That'll take us to our celebratory part of the meeting tonight, the swearing in of our re-elected city council members. So I will turn it over to Vanessa. Turn it over to you or to Judge Riggs, or how would you like to? Okay, Judge Riggs.
Watch that projector there. It's being held up by plastic and rubber bands.
So Councilmember Vitiello, would you like to go first?
I, Rich Vitiello, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arizona. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will faithfully and partially discharge the duties of council member of the city of Maricopa according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
We need a bigger council chambers.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
Here we go. 1, 2. Right here. Smiles. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to keep passing this phone up. Here, I'll take it. All right, Councilmember Wade.
Wade Jr. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arizona, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of council member of the City of Maricopa according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
All right, Vice Mayor Manfredi.
I, Vincent Manfredi, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arizona, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of council member of the City of Maricopa according to the best of my abilities, so help me God. Congratulations.
So congratulations to all, and my message is, as always, let the hard work continue. I'm excited for this council and the work that's ahead of us and all the positive things that can occur here in the City of Maricopa. I did have council members ask if they could say one word of thanks, and so I give them one word. No, I'm just teasing. Rich, I'll let you go first.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Well, one, I'd like to thank my family who had to put up with another year of elections, and it was great. But I also want to say thank you to my council members, my current ones, my former ones. Congratulations to the three of us. Thank you, the City of Maricopa. We work hard for you. I will continue to work hard for you. Public safety, fire, and police, thank you for your support. And I will continue to support the men and women of public safety that makes this city the third safest city in the state of Arizona, 91 cities and towns. And we'll someday be number one because we have the greatest crew in the state. So thank you, Maricopa. I love this city and I love working for you.
Councilmember Wade?
There was a time when we had an open house, I believe it was for the library, and all the comments were exactly the same, and I was the last one to get up to make any comments. So I just said ditto. Well, I'm in the middle of this time, so at least there's a couple of things that may be different. But I too want to thank the citizens of Maricopa for taking the chance on me another 4 years. I will work hard as I have in the past. I will be constantly reminded that you are my boss and that at any given time, you can come to me as my boss and tell me what I need to do if I'm not doing something right. And as I shared, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the fact that, that Gail is not here tonight, and she would certainly be proud that we're moving into another 4 years because she worked for it too. So thank you very much, Maricopa. I'm sorry I said more than 2 words.
That's all right.
Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Manfredi, you get 3 words. No.
Thank you. Ditto. Right? That's it. But in all seriousness, you know, this is an honor to sit here and do this. It's tiring at times. It's draining at times. It's not just sitting up here and saying yes or no to things. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the knocks on your door, the phone calls, the social media, it's everything. It doesn't stop, and it is a draining experience. With that said, in this audience, there's people who I believe, and I think you should, and jump up here and run for election next time so that you can experience it too and be drained. But thank you so much, and ditto to everything everybody else says, and thank you so much to my family for putting up with me while I do this. Thank you.
Truly, thank you to the families. I appreciate it as well. At this point, that'll take us to the proclamation phase of the agenda. I'll come down and join you all. I'd like to call up the Zonta Club of Maricopa. We have some wonderful people here to represent this awesome group. You can all come up if you would like.
We have a coalition.
Okay, yeah, bring it on. We have room for everyone. Bring it.
These ladies are all from Agnes Center here in town.
The Ag Center?
Agnes Center.
Agnes Center. I'll give you a minute or two to say just a couple things. All right, here we go. Whereas November 8th marked the 103rd anniversary of the founding of Zonta International in Buffalo, New York by courageous women who set out to work for gender equality and a better world. And whereas Zonta International, a worldwide service organization of business and professional individuals dedicated to empowering women through service and advocacy, through its seat at the United Nations, has played a leading role in initiatives that have positively affected the lives of women and girls throughout the world. And whereas the Zonta Club of Maricopa has been a staunch advocate for women and girls since its chartering in 1936 and continues to further its goals for the advancement of women, women's rights, and gender equality through service and advocacy. And whereas in 2005, Zonta International began an ongoing campaign called Zonta Says No, and has worked every year since to bring attention to the important issue of gender violence. And whereas the 16 days of activism against gender violence beginning on November 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and ending December 10th on the International Human Rights Day, is a global call for action to end gender-based violence against women, as it continues to be the most pervasive human rights violation and global epidemic affecting millions of women and girls of all race and socio-economical backgrounds. And whereas Zontians urge everyone to join them in working to end violence against women and girls, no one person, organization, or community can eliminate gender-biased violence on their own, but working together to prevent each to prevent such violence, supporting victims, survivors, and their families, and increasing support for agencies providing services to those community members is critical to ending gender violence. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Smith, Mayor of the City of Maricopa, do hereby proclaim November 25th to December 10th, 2022 as 16 days of activism against gender violence in the City of Maricopa, and along with the Zonta Club of Maricopa, encourage all citizens to work to end gender violence. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you, Mayor Nancy and the council. I remember when we chartered this club, Council Manfredi was present for our charter. We have been working hard in the City of Maricopa. This is a never-ending battle to end any violence against any person, but mostly for children and women. And I want to thank members from the Agnes Center located here in Maricopa for coming tonight. Unfortunately, a lot of our own club members are out sick, so I didn't want to be the only person standing up here strong representing the Club of Maricopa. So I want to thank all of them for being here to help support us, and thank Maricopa for fighting against violence against women.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that'll take us to the report from the mayor, and I'll start with our council members and vice mayor. Councilmember Vidiello, would you like to share anything? All right. I have a special request from all of our council, including myself, that we take a moment of silence. As many of you are aware, Councilmember Amber Lehrman suffered a loss in the family in the past 2 weeks, and obviously is very devastated, and we want to make sure that we include her in our prayers in the healing of herself and her family. And so let's just take a moment of silence. Thank you. Councilmember Vidiello? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wade.
It's been an extremely busy couple of weeks here, and it's going to get even more so as we get closer to the holiday season. We're actually in the holiday season. So there's a Maricopa event to happen, the lighting of the tree on Friday, but unfortunately on Saturday, it seems like the clouds just opened up and stormed over the place. But I imagine there were some diehards that were out there participating in the activities. I myself and my wife and a number of other people were celebrating Kwanzaa. Actually, we're educating community members on what Kwanzaa is all about. It's a celebration that starts on the 26th of December and runs through the 1st of January, a event that was created by Ron Kawinga, a student at Los Angeles Los Angeles College University, and after the Watts riots. I actually was there. I actually had my paradigm set when I looked behind us and we were going from a movie theater to home, and my uncle had to stop at a checkpoint. And when he stopped at the checkpoint, the National Guard came up on the car and asked him where we were going, and we were going home. And I looked behind me, and there was a young man holding a rifle pointed at our car. Well, at 9 years old, that didn't have the impact on me as it did when I was 60 years old, and I thought about that incident and thought, my God, that was what, an 18-year-old kid with the ability to be able to take my life? Now it did make a difference to me. But anyway, Kwanzaa was a celebration that came out of that heated situation in Los Angeles, and it is an international movement now. So I want to thank the Joanne Vanderpool for all the effort that she put into demonstrating and educating us on Kwanzaa. And I hope that the community, when you see something that talks about Kwanzaa or an event that along the season, attend. I would think you will enjoy it, and hopefully you will enjoy it, because I certainly did. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gettle. Thank you. Councilmember Marsh.
Yes, I had a busy couple of weeks since the last meeting. On November 16th, I toured the Cactus Copper Mine between here and Casa Grande. It's on the north side of Casa Grande Highway. Quite an operation there. And they've discovered a new lode of copper, and they're going to be mining it very soon. They're also mining the tailings. When ASARCO owned the mine, they only knew how to take out copper sulfate. They couldn't handle copper oxide. So they're going to go back and get the rest of that copper out. So if you're in the stock market, you might look for Arizona Sonoran copper. On the 18th of November, I participated in a lunch and learn at the Senior Center featuring ED3, and they gave a good case for senior preparedness for things like power outages and things like that. Very progressive group from ED3. On the 19th, my wife and I volunteered for the FOR Maricopa Thanksgiving food distribution at the Blue Barn, and that was a very rewarding experience. On the 21st, I participated in the intergovernmental director interviews, and we zeroed in on a candidate, and I hope she takes the offer. On the 29th, I participated in a Pinal County Board of Adjustment meeting, and yes, the county still needs a Board of Adjustment. They've got to fix their old zoning code. On December 3rd, I celebrated Trey Learman's life with several hundred other people, friends and family. And I got to say, Amber gave her son a great send-off, commensurate with his wonderful, exciting, but too short life. On December 2nd and 3rd, we had Maricopa in the rain. How about that? On the 5th, I participated in interviews for a new chief of police candidate, and I think we've got a live one there. Today, I did a meet and greet at the Senior Center with 30 or so seniors with some very pointed questions, and luckily I was able to answer most of them, and that's about it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Councilmember Marsh. Vice Mayor Manfredi.
Yeah, it's also been a crazy week, actually, with a lot of things going on. My thoughts, of course, and prayers are with Amber and what she's going through, and hopefully we'll have her back with us when she's ready. During the last 2 weeks, we actually had a meeting for MEDA, Maricopa Economic Development Alliance, the annual planning meeting where we talked about economic development and what's important to the city of Maricopa, what's important to you guys. Of course, that's jobs and how to get them here, because without them, we're just a bedroom community, and we need those jobs. Bob mentioned that we talked to someone about, or interviewed a few people about intergovernmental jobs here, Director for Intergovernmental Affairs. And I'm proud to say this is a city that used to be known as what's called a feeder city. I don't know if you know what that means, so I'll explain it really quick. A feeder city used to be where young people came, got a job, and then once they were able to get some experience under them, we'd lose them to places like Scottsdale, Chandler, Gilbert, Phoenix, and other cities that could maybe pay them more or give them better opportunities. I'm happy to say that we are now the city stealing people from Scottsdale, Chandler, and other cities, from state organizations, and we're bringing people to the city of Maricopa to grow with us. So that is a good thing, and we're getting great talent. And although we had interviews for one person, I think we hired more than one for different jobs within the city, which is great. We also, I had a meeting for PRTA, that's Pinal Regional Transit Authority, where we talked about Prop 469, the $80 million and all that fun stuff. And I think I mentioned it on social media, so take a look at that and what we did and what the next steps are. I met with CAG, that's the Central Arizona Government, about the same thing, Prop 469, as well as RTAC, which is Rural Transportation Advisory Committee, about Prop 400 and other things that are happening in Maricopa County. All of these things come together because what we need to do is fix the 347 regardless of funding that failed in Prop 469. The 347 still is paramount to the city of Maricopa, and without it fixed, we suffer every single day. So it's very important. The mayor and I met with representatives from RTAC, Rural Transportation Advisory Committee, as well as Central Arizona Governments today, and we stressed the importance that even though we don't have Prop 469, that just means that we're going to rely on them more for the funding that we need. And we didn't press on them for funding in the past, right? Because we were hoping 469 and we had a belief that 469 was passed, but now it falls to them. But it falls to all of us. It falls to the whole entire state to make sure that the safety and the availability of transportation money is there to fix SR 347. So that's been my 2 weeks. It's all been transportation, nonstop transportation. Tomorrow there's another meeting that I can't make it to, but Mayor Smith is going to go to, where she's cobbling together people who are working to have an impact in regard to transportation throughout the state. Because as your council, we're going to work really hard for transportation. Our staff, Ben over there, and everyone else is going to work really hard for transportation. But nothing helps more than having an informed citizenry that can put the pressure to other elected officials, and it helps. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a gentleman in the audience, Ron is out there, or you can contact the mayor. It's at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and you can meet and figure out if there's something that you can do. There's someone that you can talk to. There's some influence that you can press to make sure we have the funding dollars we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A lot of fun stuff. I'd first like to ask Chief Patassi to please stand up. Let's all give him a round of applause. You may be wondering why we swore him in as our official chief of fire, or fire chief, I guess is the appropriate way to say that. And let me tell you, that swearing in ceremony was just fabulous. But the thing that I loved hearing the most was firefighter after firefighter telling me that they're so proud of Chief Patassi because he is, and these are their words, homegrown. And they gave me the story. He started in the ambulance, do I have that correct? And worked his way all the way up through all of the different levels and has become our fire chief for the city of Maricopa, so I'm really proud of him. I also did the Meet a Mine tour, which was really neat from an educational perspective. We talked about the stockpile, the tailings. When you're looking at this area from the Maricopa-Casa Grande Highway, you just see piles of dirt, right? And you just think they're dirt. No, they're worth millions of dollars when they rehash through those piles and find the copper that's still there. And then all of the piles are actually a little bit different. They have stockpile tailings, and then they have the open pit. But the neatest thing that I heard during this tour was jobs. When they are ready and running and operating at different phases, we're talking hundreds of jobs, up to 1,000 jobs. And so very, very exciting for our region that these types of jobs are available to those who are interested in them. So I was very excited to hear that. And remind me, for those who went, how many years away is that? Do you remember? Was it 4 years? 3 or 4 years away before they're up and running. They have to get through all the environmental things first. Then I also attended the MEDA Strategic Planning, which sets the priorities for economic development. It was a great meeting of so many of the wonderful leaders that we have here in the city of Maricopa. And then the last thing that I'd like to talk about, I'd first like to ask Ron to stand up. Ron? Okay, you guys got to get to know this guy. That's all right. Ron came and spoke to Mayor Price and myself when I was either vice mayor or just a council member, and he wanted to know, how do I get involved in helping the state, the county, all levels of government understand the needs of Maricopa's transportation. So when I became mayor and created the 100-day plan and put forth the influencers group for State Route 347, Ron was first on my list. And you know what? He didn't back off. I called him up, said, Ron, I need you. He said, I'm there. And not only is he there, we've been meeting for 4 months now, he's there and he's taking the lead role. So please, if you're interested in transportation and you want to help be a part of our group, an influencer for State Route 347, it is a citizens group. It's not a city group. But I am working with Ben Bitter to make sure that we have everything factually correct when we share information. But we're here to make a difference. And when I say that, I've been similar to Mayor Price. I've been to the last 4 ADOT meetings, either virtually or in person. Ron's been there. Bill Robertson has been there. He's a part of our group. Tina was here earlier. She's a part of our group. I don't want to miss anyone who's here. James Singleton, I don't know if he left, but there he is. And he's a part of our group. And let me tell you, this, Ron, would you agree, this is some amazing people and some great, fantastic ideas on how we're going to help influence. But my point being, Ron was on the call for the last ADOT State Transportation Board meeting, and I was there in person in Workenberg, and I shared with them the 3 miserable weeks that we had in November, where 8 days out of those 3 weeks, 347 was closed. I shared this with them, and I said, not just closed, but closed for multiple extensive hours and the loss of 2 lives. And so they listened and they heard and they really appreciated it. And so I then asked for a meeting. I'm like, I need to meet with you, and not only do I need to meet with you, I'm going to ask you to consider a meeting with my residents. So we're working on that. Let's hope we get it. We want it bad, and it's all a matter of the changeover of government, as you probably are aware, with a new governor and a new appointment to the state ADOT and DPS. So it might take some time, but I want you to know we're serious about this, right, Ron? And we're going to make it happen. So that was a really productive meeting. And then I talked to the ADOT director and his key engineer. Hopefully the key engineer won't change jobs, and told him, I really need this meeting. And so working with State Representative Martinez and TJ Shope and the rest of the council and the city manager and our staff, thank you, Ben, we're going to make this happen. So keep your ears open. And so that ends the report from the council and mayor. City manager, okay, nothing from the city manager. That takes us to the call to the public. I do have 2 speaker cards. Let me first read the call to the public. This is the fun part every time. The procedures to follow if you address the council are: council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about the city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever they deem such is appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that it matter be placed on a future agenda. However, members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matters during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. So pretty simple. So you have 3 minutes, and I do have 2 speaker cards. If you'll come forward one at a time and just give us your name. First one I'm going to call up is Richard Mueller.
Richard.
Oh, I should have done that. Sorry about that.
Are we better?
Perfect.
I want the city to address an erosion issue that we have in Altera community. It's dealing with the realignment of the 347 when the overpass was built for the railroad. To accommodate that overpass, a part of the 347 was removed between Altera community and the First Baptist Church, and with the road was removed and abandoned. That portion that was removed was part of a drainage system that controlled the water in that area. The water flowed down the highway to a grate in the roadway next to the curb. It then was funneled down into a system that controlled the drainage into one of our retention basins. Well, that system was removed and abandoned and filled in with dirt, and the area was raised higher than the original roadway. That caused all the water in that area to funnel down into Altera property, and it's causing erosion in that area that we cannot control. We can't even improve that property in that area because it just doesn't go away. That area has been stable for 14 years that I've been on the board of Altera. We have never had any problems in that area until that roadway was removed and that drainage system that was part of that roadway. Now we can't do anything with that area. I've talked to several people in the city about this for the last 2 years, and we're still sitting there waiting. My understanding is that you're going to turn this property over to the First Baptist Church. I hope you've made them aware of this drainage problem, because somebody's going to have to fix this, and it should be either ADOT or the city. You were both involved in the drainage of this road, and you took away something that was helping our community, and now we've got nothing but damage.
Richard, thank you. I actually had a conversation with City Manager early on this issue. Do you want to connect him with the...
Yes, is Keith here?
Keith is one I talked to just the other day. But I got concerned because it was being turned over to the church.
So that piece of property is not being turned over to the church. The part that is adjacent to yours. That's a misnomer that it's all. There's a piece, but it's on their side. There's quite a foot of land that we're retaining. And I understand our Director of Public Services and engineer has a meeting planned for somebody. I don't know if that's you or somebody else. And I think you heard that you had waiting on a response from our former director, and I think I explained why they had to respond. So that property is not being deeded over the city, and we will work with you to
It's
find
not
a
being
solution.
deeded to the church.
To the church.
Yes.
Thank
It
you.
was on the agenda for tonight.
There is a piece of it, but not the part that aligns directly with your land.
If you think about that 80-foot section, they're getting like 40. The other 40 we're keeping, and I'm estimating.
Okay, my concern is not only for us, but for the church. Are they going to be liable for any of this water that's coming off this property? And you're giving them more.
Again, our city engineer and director has a scheduled meeting with you to help resolve the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. The next speaker card that I have is Ben Owens.
Good evening, Mayor Smith, council members. Thank you for allowing me to be here. My concern is with communication with the city. Let's take yesterday, for example. Saturday and Sunday, we had 2 days of rain, highly unusual here for Maricopa. The wash closed going through Rancho. And being residents of the lakes, when we go into the metro, we cut through Rancho, the north part of the loop there. There was no indication at all that the wash was closed, or that the loop was closed. Nothing, I checked last night, there was no indication on social media. When you come into Maricopa, the new digital signs there say that the wash is closed. But if we're coming from the lakes, and this has been an ongoing issue, when the wash is closed, if you can put wash running or road closed signs or something there, because that literally adds 10 minutes onto the drive to get around that doesn't need to be there. So just point of, I know that the Lakes residents are not the only ones that go back through there. So just something to kind of help out a good chunk of the city. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Would anyone else like to approach the podium? Yes, Miss Rachel.
Rachel LaFall, Tortosa subdivision. I just wanted to say a couple things. One, I want to thank our city council, our community members, our staff, just for all the hard work, the commitment that you do. I've been here since 2009, and just to see the growth, some of you who are serving now weren't serving then, and just to see how you've elevated in your commitment to the city, it's commendable, and I appreciate it. And your spouses as well. And then myself as a small business owner and an engaged citizen, I tonight see someone in the audience who I assisted in the development of their business, and they started in another city because we didn't have the infrastructure here. And now to hear that Miss Grace Scott with Agnes Center for Domestic Solutions is here actually in Maricopa providing that service. It's just an awesome thing to see. And I see the pastors here tonight who have just been instrumental in the programming with the youth and with our community members. You know, people go through things, and we know this as witnessed by what Councilmember Learman is experiencing. And I just want to call out, you know, when we see it, do something about it, right? If you see something that is going on in our city, report it, because that's what keeps our city safe. And I appreciate that. Councilmember Wade, when you've spoken on situations that have happened even in your own community and speaking out to those community members, letting them know that this is supposed to be a safe space, and it affects us in our hearts, right? Because we are a family. We're a city that is, we have that small town appeal, but we're growing immensely. And I just thank everyone. Vanessa, I think she was what, #2 in city staff? And it's amazing that she's still here, she's still serving. So I just want to encourage everyone to just get involved, do more, just be more committed, because instead of just bringing the issues to city, we can also do things about it. So I thank you guys, and I pray for everyone's safety, and mental health is real. So please, please, please acknowledge it, and if you can, support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Hello, and say your name.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Manfredi, Mayor Nancy Smith, Councilman. My name is Jelani Elliott, AKA DJ Mentals. I'm here to speak about some of those things that Ms. Rachel just touched on. About, I think, 3.5 weeks ago, myself, Mayor Smith, and Councilwoman Learman had a conversation. We met, and then we were talking about our youth in the city and things that how we can work together and to do things for our youth in the city. Sorry. Unfortunately, since then we had a very unfortunate tragedy in our city. I don't know if the city is aware of it, but this is not the first youth, nor is it the second youth that has felt like they had nothing else to live for and unfortunately have taken their lives. I'm sitting in the back and I'm listening to others come up, and we have things going on after the calls of the public. And as adults, we have a lot of things that we go through as adults. We have a lot of stress that we go through as adults, and a lot of things that are very difficult for us as adults. And sometimes we get lost in our adult lives and forget about the little ones and think simply because they just have to worry about going to school, and that's all you have to worry about. Get good grades, and that's all you have to worry about. What do you stress for? Because you're just 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, so you shouldn't be stressed about anything, but just go to school. And that's all they have to worry about. But we're very, very wrong. Our children are dealing with a whole lot of things. I started a program called Safe House because of it. Every first Saturday of the month, myself, Tanya Thompson with Water and Ice has partnered with me. The Old John's, Crystal and Kid Old John with the Maricopa Care Veterans Center, and also Brianna Reinhold with Northern Lights Therapy has all partnered with me to provide a safe space within a safe place for our children to come to. Every first Saturday of the month between 9 and 11, you can come to Water and Ice. Don't worry about money and things like that, because we have $5 vouchers for you all, any kid to come. It doesn't matter from the ages right now, it's high school. Very, very, very quickly we're working on, and we need volunteers. We talk about village, it takes a village to raise children. I was watching Trey's homegoing, and we're talking about I apologize. I have some flyers about the program. I'm not gonna take up any more time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jelani. Would anyone else like to approach the podium at this point? All right, seeing none, I'll close the call to the public, and that'll take us to consent agenda. Currently on consent agenda, we have items 8.1 through 8.11, and I am going to ask, after we have some discussion, that we strike 8.6 from the agenda, as we're not prepared to handle that tonight. So, council members, do you have any additional questions, concerns, issues on 8.1 through 8.11 minus 8.6?
Madam Mayor, you can just pull 8.6 from the consent agenda, then table it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, will do. So, whoever makes the motion, please pull 8.6.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda, remove 8.6 and bring it to the regular agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us to the regular agenda, and we'll first open up the consent agenda 8.6. And I don't know if there's any discussion. Nothing?
Mayor, I'd like to move to table 8.6.
Thank you. I have a motion, seconded by Councilmember Wade. Any additional conversation? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. That takes us to agenda item 9.1. I'll go ahead and read that item. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Maricopa, Arizona, approving and adopting the updated 2022 Pinal County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan and replacing all previously approved mitigation plans. This presentation will be given by George Berger. Thank you, George.
Good evening, Mayor Smith and council members. My name is George Berger. I'm the emergency manager for the city of Maricopa. With me tonight, she's sitting back there, Courtney Prock. She's the emergency coordinator with the Pinal County Office of Emergency Management. Just a little bit of a background on the Pinal County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. As with any hazard mitigation plans in the country, recently the state of Arizona and Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, approved the Pinal County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This plan is reviewed and assessed every 5 years by Pinal County and communities within the county. Communities that participate are eligible to obtain certain types of federal disaster assistance and hazard mitigation grant funding. Eligibility for funding requires a formal adoption of the plan. And you can advance the slide. Some information: the city of Maricopa participated in this review and assessment process. And during the process, the city identified potential or active mitigation. The following hazards were identified that could directly or indirectly impact the city of Maricopa. And those hazards are flooding, severe wind, extreme heat, drought, dam failure, or subsidence. Some mitigation projects that the city is currently involved with that were also identified, we prioritize these. High priority would be the design and construct culverts, bridges, drainage improvements near the Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa washes. and for areas with potential flood threats. This improves capacity and prevents flooding of adjacent residential and commercial areas. And that project's in progress. Also in progress is the realignment of the Santa Cruz Wash. Another in progress project, the all-weather crossing design and construction at the Porter Road and Santa Rosa Wash. And public education of the dangers of extreme heat, which is a collaboration among utility providers and the city of Maricopa. We're fortunate enough on that topic to have a meteorologist from the National Weather Service join us to provide a community course on monsoon season, which brings us that extreme heat. Now moving on to medium priority projects. Coordination with Pinell County by implementing the National Flood Insurance Program and managing floodplains through various projects such as map revisions, elevation certificates, master drainage study, certification of levees, and construction project review and approval for projects within floodplains. We'll continue to zone and enforce building code for new building and infrastructure projects to reduce effects of flooding, severe wind, and other hazards. And this last one, it was a low priority project, but because we took over that right of way where State Road 347 is, it was planned to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with ADOT for bridge inspection and maintenance. Current mitigation capabilities that the City of Maricopa has to mitigate hazards includes plans, codes, and ordinances that are already on the books. They're always improving as well. The City of Maricopa also employs staff to assist mitigation efforts. The majority of staff are employed in the Development Services Department, Public Works Department, and the Emergency Management Department. And just some additional information that I wanted to touch on. With flood mitigation, the City of Maricopa ensures that development and construction complies with the Pinell County floodplain management regulations by providing information and a permitting process. The City of Maricopa also provides notification when changes to the flood zone occur. One that always comes up is the question of, are we at risk for wildfire, and how we plan on mitigating that? Well, luckily, the City of Maricopa was identified as having low risk of wildfire. It has low ignition history, and most wildfires in Maricopa can be extinguished in the initial stages and are less than 1 acre.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Council? I would like you to just, because you and I have had a conversation, and I think it helps to know that we're not alone. So if you could just share kind of how emergency moves up the line through the various avenues, just in a few quick sentences, but I think it's important for them to know we're not standing on our own.
Right, and it's been brought up numerous times throughout the meeting. The importance of partnerships, volunteering. There's multiple ways of volunteering, not only for the response in a disaster situation, but even helping with the planning process of how the city is going to respond and ultimately recover. We want to have a quick recovery so that our economy recovers quick so businesses can get back. And looking ahead, long-term recovery too. That's another priority because, you know, if we do suffer a disaster, Maricopa is going to get back and become stronger than it was before.
Perfect. And just a little bit on, so if we find in Maricopa that there's something that we need additional resources, how does that process work?
Well, and that's a good question. The City of Maricopa is a signatory in what's called ASMAC, or the Arizona Mutual Aid Compact. I believe that was just, I think it was at the last council meeting that approval joining into that again, actually renewing it as a city. And what that does, it opens us up to the entire state with regards to requesting mutual aid. In addition to the state mutual aid compact, we also have, we're part of the Phoenix Automatic Aid for fire. So we have a lot of resources there for response. We also have partnerships and agreements with volunteer agencies. So yeah, we are definitely not alone, and all we have to do is ask.
Perfect, perfect. I appreciate that. Yes, Councilmember Gettle.
So I also, and please, Mr. Berger, correct me if I'm incorrect here, but having an active mitigation plan opens up the city for additional revenue streams and helping to solve some of those issues that are longstanding, that we know are problem spots that can cause potential loss of property or even life. And so having this active plan approved here tonight is very beneficial in allowing those funds to come, so that it's not necessarily on our pocketbook to create a solution to some of these issues. Am I correct in understanding this?
Absolutely, Councilmember Gettle, both for looking at grants for hazard mitigation, as well as obtaining the public assistance, individual assistance, for recovering from a disaster. This plan that we participated in, that the county is putting out there, it makes us eligible for those funding opportunities.
Yeah, thank you. And so, Mayor, if I would, I'd just like to thank Mr. Berger and his team, and also the fantastic people in our Pinal County. They do remarkable work in helping us foresee some of these issues, be on top of them, have a strategic plan on what to do if something does fail, but more importantly, see if we can't prevent it from happening in the first place. So thank you all for your hard work there.
Very good. Any additional questions, concerns, comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice Mayor. Do I have a second by
Second.
Councilmember Gettle? Okay, any further discussion on 9.1? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. That'll take,
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can I ask for a moment of indulgence?
yes.
Some of you may be meeting George for the first time tonight. He's only been with us a few months. He obviously is well-versed and has already brought a significant positive impact to the city, but he has more that he does. He's very, I don't know the right words, but he's very good with radios and interoperability and making sure we have good signals and towers, and he's taken over the role of managing all of our public safety communications, coordinating with the state and other areas. And I just want you to know that he's been a new player in the city, but has already made a significant impact and will bring much more to you in the future. So thank you, George.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, George.
Thanks, George.
All right, that'll take us to agenda item 9.2. Let me read that for you. The mayor and city council shall discuss and take action on making appointments to the various committees. This comes about periodically after elections have happened. Council members make changes, or committee members are finished serving and they'd like to give somebody else a chance. So tonight, it all lies in Councilmember Wade's hands. You can do it wherever you'd like.
Different than what we normally do. The first thing I want to do is to recognize all the effort and work of the people who have been serving on the boards and commissions for me for the last, in some cases, 8 years. That they have taken the job seriously, have elevated up through the ranks, become chairs, vice chairs. They have committed and produced activities, under their organizations, whether it be recs and libraries and parks, or Planning and Zoning. As you saw, the Planning and Zoning Commission is very active. I think the majority of people who spoke today on boards and commissions were Planning and Zoning members. And I just wanted, I know it's a small token of my appreciation for the time that they have served. And if I know that most of them have gone, but I want to make sure that I recognize one that was really a role model and a go-to person in the organization that they represented. Took it serious, became involved, not just at the P&Z level, but learned more about the process and about the experience that they have to the organization, to the process as well. And I want to thank Linda Huggins for doing just that. She came in like gangbusters, grabbed a hold of that animal there and took it on. So I really hate to change, if you will, but I think change is important and change is necessary. And I know that she will be there to offer advice on occasion. But then I'd like to recognize her. And basically it says, I, Henry Wade, City Council Member of the City of Maricopa, County of Pinal, State of Arizona, do hereby note with sincere appreciation for Linda Huggins, who generously served on the Planning and Zoning Commission from February 19, 2013 through 6 December 2022. Henry Wade. And I'm going to just acknowledge in public those others that had to leave or not attendance. The next person would be Christina Dugan. And Christina generously served on the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Committee from February 17, 2015 through December 6, 2022. The next person would be William Andrew Andy Lockridge, who generously served on the Age-Friendly Maricopa Advisory Committee from June 1st, 2016 through December 6, 2022. This person is going to continue to serve because they just became a part of the organization recently, and that's Danielle Lamorian, who will generously serve on the Cultural Affairs and Arts Committee. She has served previously from April 19, 2022 through December 6, 2022, and she will continue on. And then finally, Roger Gillespie, who generously served on our Transportation Committee from July 17, 2018 through December 6, 2022. And I want to thank them all for the service that they provided throughout the years. When people leave, people have to be there to replace them. And I've spoken out to a number of community members who had many names that have spoken to me previously and talked about wanting to be a part of the organizations or different boards and commissions. And if you've ever heard me in a public place, I always emphasize and stress that people who want to get involved, they get involved through the boards and commissions. It's one way they can use their time and their effort or energy to support the city, and I think it's important. So replacing Andy on Age Friendly will be Susan Randolph. Susan is a small business owner, owns a child care center, and she was ecstatic when we talked about joining the Age Friendly Committee. She's looking forward to it. On the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries will be Joanna Vanderpool. She's a member of the community. And I spoke earlier about the Kwanzaa celebration. She has jumped into that with her whole soul. And I think if she puts the same kind of effort into the libraries, parks, recreation, libraries, we're going to have a good person there. The next person is Mr. Jim Hughes, will come in under P&Z. Mr. Hughes is a recent a member of our community. Jim, you want to stand up? He's here. Jim is a former county commissioner from Illinois. Also served in many capacities in the political scene, but also has been a stalwart advocate for proper planning and zoning, for doing things right, getting things done correctly, appropriately, and quickly. And I've seen him in action. I think that the addition to the board is going to be a good addition. I think you guys will be very happy about it. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. And just to stray away for just a second, we continue to have a Jim Hughes in our community doing something. Danielle Lamorian, as I mentioned earlier, was going to stay with Cultural Committee and Arts, and so she's already been participating in activities and whatever, so she's going to take over for that. So that is my cabinet, I guess, if you want to look at it in those terms. I'm very happy that the people who have selected to come forward are excited about coming on board as well. And I look forward to working with them. And I look forward with the council working with them as well. Thank you. Thank you.
So if I repeat, Henry, and then correct me if I'm wrong, you have Susan Randolph for Age Friendly, Joanna Vanderpool, here we go, Joanna Vanderpool for Parks, Rec, and Library. We have Jim Hughes for P&Z and Danielle Lamorin for Cultural Arts. Council, do you have any questions for Councilmember Wade and these appointments?
Mayor, usually we pass these individually for each one. Can we pass them as a slate?
We can pass them as a slate.
I'd like to make a motion to pass all 4 of those nominations. And need a second.
Second.
I have a second over here with Councilmember Vitiello. Any other further discussion on item 9.2? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations to all who are here tonight. Thank you. At this time, it'll take us to agenda item 9.3. And this is, I'll go ahead and read it. It's the mayor and city council shall discuss the selection of a vice mayor from among the members of the city council. And I would like to just start off basically saying how much I have appreciated in my 4 short months as mayor, Vice Mayor Manfredi, who has served the entire year. And in my 4 short months, I've asked him to serve well over a half a dozen times when I have a conflict and have 2 things to go to, and he has done so, and done so with eagerness and professionalism and just representing the city in a marvelous way. So I want to thank you for your time. You're always willing to do what's necessary to serve this city. I appreciate it. But as I was told last year when I was vice mayor, you're out of here. I thought that was harsh, but I thought I'd use it on you. You're out of here. So I believe you have a few words you'd like to say.
Yeah. I want to thank the entire council for unanimously choosing me as the vice mayor last year. It was a great pleasure to serve. It is additional work. Some people believe it's a title, that you just do a title, you're vice mayor, and that's it. But there's more work to it. I was thrust into being the mayor, an interim mayor too, as the vice mayor for a couple of months, where Christian Price ran away and left us behind, and then we kicked her out of here right before that, and now she's the mayor.
See, good things come.
Don't get any ideas, right? So what we're looking at today is we're going to choose one of our council members to be the vice mayor. You know, the greatest thing about it is we do this annually. We don't put somebody at the vice mayor spot and they sit there for 8 years. Some cities do that. Some cities sit there with a vice mayor that sits there for a very long time. But we choose, it's not in our code, we choose to pick new people. And mostly because the person that's doing it doesn't want to do it again for another year. There's only been one so far in a long time that did it twice, and that was Nancy. So usually we'll have the vice mayor make a choice, and everyone up here, all 4, 5, 6 of the council members, all 6 of the council members could do the job, and all 6 of them could, but unfortunately we only get to choose one vice mayor. So I've spoken to a lot of folks, I've spoken to people, and you know, I'd like to make a choice that is someone that's served 4 years so far. They were just reelected. They had half of the people in the city of Maricopa here for their swearing in. And so that is Rich Vitiello. I'd like to nominate him for vice mayor for the next 12 months.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any additional comments?
Well, do you accept that?
Yes,
if supported, would you select?
I would support that, and I would be very proud and honored to work hand in hand, not only with the council, but Mayor Smith.
Very
Thank you.
good. Very good. I did ask Rich when he told me he was interested in the position. I explained to him that Vice Mayor Manfredi, in just 4 short months, has done well over a half a dozen events for me, and asked him, are you up to it? Do you have the time? He adamantly said yes, and he gave me great reasons in terms of why he feels like he'd do an awesome job. So I definitely support that as well. So, any additional comments or questions? Seeing none, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Congratulations, that motion carries. Very good. I'll take the time to come up and congratulate him. It's exciting, and this meeting is adjourned.